Hello, my name is Matthias and welcome to the FPL Scope and my team selection video for Game Week 34, which is the free hit game week for most people watching, I'm sure. This is the big anticipated game week where I'm going to use my actual free hit myself, and I'm not just going to make a free hit draft like I do every single week, but I'm going to make a draft that I'm going to actually put out to the world and actually use finally. So that makes my job a bit easier when it comes to this video as well, because normally I do the Game Week 34 teams for both my own team and the free hit team, and then also the manager of the week. But this time around, all those three teams will be the same because it's going to be a free hit team, and it's going to be what I think is the best free hit team currently. So I'm going to talk extensively about that in this video, but I'm also going to go through a couple more things. The first one being my score from Game Week 33 and how I did. Also, I'm going to look at the manager of the week from this past game week, and I'm also going to look at my free hit draft from Game Week 33 as well before we get into the Game Week 34 shenanigans, basically. So let's just start with my Game Week 33 squad and my Game Week 33 score as well, which is 80 points in total. I made one transfer, and that was Anthony Gordon to Mikel Merino. Not the best transfer in hindsight, but yeah, I'm going to talk more about that later, I guess. But all in all, I was sort of saved in the end of the game week by the late goal from Jean-Philippe Mateta. That not only did that make Mateta get his points from the goal, he also got 3 bonus points, and it also was the equalizing goal in that game, which meant that I got table bonus points finally for Glasner as my assistant manager. So the assistant manager chip has not been the best for me. I had Graham Potter in game week 31 when I activated the assistant manager chip. Then I had Glasner last week when he only got 2 points in that game from against Man City, and then he lost like 5-0 against Newcastle. And then this game week, Palace managed to hold on to a draw, 0-0 against Bournemouth, and then they managed to get a 2-2 draw against Arsenal in the table bonus match finally, netting me 15 points from Glasner, also on top of the 10 points that Mateta got, and also the 6 points that Munoz got from the Bournemouth clean sheet as well. So all in all, like a decent game week from the Palace boys finally this time around. They waited late in the game week to turn up, but finally when Mateta scored that goal, thanks to a Saliba mess up as well, which I was really happy about, I actually managed to get a decent score, which actually landed me a pretty decent game week all around as well. So now up to 180 or 108k overall. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm trying to get into the top 50k, I guess, for the end of the season. I think that's going to be my realistic goal. Top 10k is usually my goal, but I'm not going to be able to do that this season, it seems like, unless I have some wondrous finish to the season somehow. But I don't really think that's possible, really, at this point of the season when so many teams are really similar to each other, basically. But yeah, when it comes to Game Week 33, my one transfer was Gordon to Merino, like I said. I did think Merino was going to start at least one of the games and play part in the other one at the very least. But then he played really well, actually, for the first half that he had in the first game. He looked really good, got an assist, was close to getting another assist for Saka. He was playing as basically a de facto striker, even though Trossard was playing as a striker as well. But then he got subbed off after like 55 minutes, which was annoying. But what was even more annoying was the fact that he didn't play in the second game against Crystal Palace at all. So he ended up just getting 4 points, which is what you get from 2 appearance points in both games. And it looked so good after that assist. I thought I had figured something out with Merino, but turns out he was just a false prophet. He's going to play against PSG, so they saved him for those matches rather than playing him in these matches, and that's what I should have known as well. That's like a memo for myself for this situation in later seasons. If you have a team like Arsenal playing in the Champions League semi-final and they are going to use their best team for that game, they're most likely not going to use that player in both matches in a double game week leading into that Champions League game, for example. So yeah, I should have just known that was going to be the case, that they weren't going to play Saka and Merino and those guys like heavy minutes because they want them to be fit and ready for the Champions League games. And I should have just gone with the best player that was not going to start against PSG, which is in fact Leandro Trossard, who managed to get a gajillion points this game week. So yeah, that's probably what I should have been seeing myself, but I did think Merino was going to get matched and play both matches just because he hasn't really played that many minutes this season. I don't think the need for a rest for him was as important, but apparently Arteta disagrees with me and played him 55 minutes in the first game and 0 minutes in the second game. So 55 minutes in total for a double game week player, which is just abysmal. But at least I got the assist to get me at least like the double game week points at the very least from Merino. But really disappointing transfer there. My captain also really disappointing, Marmoush. He actually played 70 plus minutes in both matches as I expected him to do. That's why I had him as captain, because I had the most faith in his minutes, and his minutes were fine. but his output just wasn't there, sadly. Marmoush has sort of been a big disappointment. He has been a bit hit and miss this season. He's had like 2 like major game weeks where he got like 17 and 12 points, I think. But other than that, he's been pretty inconsistent and hasn't really gotten the points in total. So yeah, 4 points for him as well, 8 points as the captain. Not ideal. The rest of my team as well, not really that well performing. The defense did pretty well. I got 1 clean sheet each from Raya, Ruben Diaz, Guardiola, I should say, and Munoz. And that gained me quite a few points in the end in the defense. At least I got 1 clean sheet from each of them. But over the double game week, not really the highest of scores either for any of those guys as well. When it comes to the rest of my midfielders, Saka, obviously, bit part player in both matches, 55 minutes in the first game, came on as a sub in the second game, 2 points in total for him. Pretty big disappointment for someone that I brought in game week 30 wildcard, basically for this game week in mind. To get 2 points from him there is pretty disappointing. Salah, 3 points against Leicester. He had several chances to score, didn't really do much. That was also kind of disappointing. At least Morgan Rogers got 1 assist from the 4-1 win against Newcastle, but again, also kind of disappointing to see him only get 7 points from 2 game weeks after he's been so good lately as well, but at least he got some points for me. And in the end as well, Isak 2 points up front. Mateta with the 10 points, which was amazing. That was basically what saved my game week. Mateta's 10 points, giving me the Glasner assistant manager points as well. But apart from that, and my defense, which was decent, not the best game week, but 80 points this game week, it is enough for a green arrow at least. I'm pretty happy with that. I also have my bench boost left. A lot of people use their bench boost to no effect in game week 33. Hopefully I'll be more lucky when I use it in game week 36, most likely. And I also have my free hit for game week 34 as well, obviously. So I have 2 chips left to play. Decent-ish rank, I guess, so far. With a decent chance to get into the top 50k, I think. So yeah, that's what I'm going to look for this season. But yeah, my game week was fine, 80 points, which is decent. But let's take a look at the manager of the week this game week from the FPL Scope Mini League and see how many points you could have had pretty easily as well. Or not pretty easily, but like with a normal team that is not like a super team with like crazy differential players that you didn't expect to do well, like Matias Nunez, for example. So let's take a look at the manager of the week from this past game week in the FPL Scope Mini League team. Or FPL Scope Mini League in total, basically. And this week it is Syed Iqbal Razi, who got 116 points in total. 2 kind of like good transfers for this game week, but for the long term, I'm not sure about selling Salah and Isak when you don't have your wildcard left. You use your wildcard in game week 32 as well, which is kind of surprising looking at your team, honestly. And not using the bench boost as well. In my weekly wildcard draft for game week 32, I said that I would make a team that would be bench boosting in 33 and then have like a decent team for the rest of the season. But this team is sort of a bit weird compared to what we normally see. Digne is not someone that is usually picked. 0 points from him this game week. Livramento, 0 points as well from him. So not the ideal picks for this game week either. But that didn't really stop you because those were basically only 2 duds in the whole team, as you can see. Henderson with 10 points, he was the best goalkeeper, so he was the best pick for that position. Saliba with 7 points, that was pretty solid, even though Kivior did better, but yeah, Saliba is the safer choice out of the 2. Eze with 10 points, he scored that goal against Arsenal as well, got some bonus points from that. That was really helpful for him. And the big story of this game week, of course, and the reason that you are the manager of the week is the captaincy for Trossard. 48 points in total. You had Trossard from before, you didn't even need to buy him this game week, and you handed him the captain's armband, and that was the greatest decision that you made this game week because he got 48 points in total. That's absolutely amazing. Basically 24 points compared to 4 points from Marmoush. That's 20 point swing there from going with Trossard captain over Marmoush. So that was absolutely fantastic. Kovacic is the other, is one of the transfers you made. Salah to Kovacic. Don't really think that's the best transfer, really. You gained 5 points from it this game week, but I think over the course of the rest of the season, you're going to regret that transfer because a transfer is normally worth 4 points in itself, so you basically broke even at this point of the season, and then you need Kovacic to match Salah for the rest of the season, basically. You have the thing that where Kovacic is potentially getting the double game week in game week 36, but I don't think I would prefer Kovacic in a double game week over Salah, even in this game week. So I think it's a bit of a weird transfer in general, but it did gain you points at least and got you enough to be a manager of the week, so you should be happy with that at least. Rogers with 7 points as well, as he did for my team. Watkins, who you brought in for Isak. I think this is a more understandable pick because Isak doesn't really have the best fixtures going in for the rest of the season. And you have the free hitting game 34 as well, where you don't really need to have Isak in your squad because you can just free hit him into your team. So I think that transfer is more understandable and it actually gained you 10 points, even though Watkins also basically was a de facto single game week player because he did start in the first game, got a goal and assist, 12 points, amazing. But in the second game, he came on, got a yellow card, and basically ended with 0 points in that second game. So it was basically just a like-for-like single game week player for single game week player, but Watkins was the better performing player out of the two because Aston Villa destroyed Newcastle 4-1, kind of surprisingly. Mateta with the 10 points here, as he did for my team, and Marmoush also with the 4 points here, as he did for my team, except that I chose him as captain, and you went for Trossard instead, which was the much better choice in the end. Your bench with Flecken, Lewis, Murphy, and Harvey Bellis. Not the ideal bench for things to come, I think. You have a lot of money in the bank, though, so you have a lot of things to do in the future. So when it comes to your long-term future, Game Week 34 is going to be a free hit for you because you're basically the only players left to play for you in Game Week 34 is your bench with Flecken, Lewis, Murphy, and Harvey Bellis. The rest of your starting 11 it's not starting or don't know how to match in Game Week 34, so you need to use your free hit now. But for the rest of the season, you have like 13.4 something, I think, in the bank. You have unlimited money basically because you sold Salah and Isak and you don't really have any expensive players in your team. I think Mbuemo in Game Week 35 is the ideal thing. He has Man United at home. He has really good fixtures to end the season as well. I think he's the best player to bring in for one of the other midfielders that you can play in Game Week 37 because that's most likely going to be a double game week. For a lot of teams, I think I would actually do Kovacic maybe to Mbuemo or maybe someone else like Rodgers, for example, who doesn't seem likely to play in Game 37 if Aston Villa go through to the FA Cup final, basically. So yeah, I would bring in Mbuemo for Game 35 and then just look at what happens in Game 36. Maybe Haaland is back for Game 36 and you have a lot of money in the bank to go from Mateta to Haaland, for example. That would be amazing. And to have that differential player there, I think that could be your best course of action for the rest of the season. And beyond that, you just have to look at Game 37 and Game 38 basically and see what best fits your own team basically for the rest of the season. And I think you should be hoping for Aston Villa to go out of the cup so you actually have enough players to play in Game 37. I think that's going to be a main thing for you, basically. So yeah, all the best of luck for the rest of the season. I'm also going to provide you, of course, what I think is the best squad to have in Game 34 with my free hit team. But before we do that, let's take a look at my free team for Game 33 and see how that compares to both the Manager of the Week and also my own team and see how that did comparatively. So this is the team that I selected for the free draft. Obviously no assistant manager like I had in my own team. So that means that the 15 points that I got from the manager, Glasner, would not have counted, which would have meant 65 points for my own team if I didn't have the assistant managership available. So this team actually outperformed that a little bit, but it still got less points than my own team. Because my own team got 80 points with the assistant manager points as well. This team got 74 points in total. So I went with Ryan goal. He got a clean sheet. Saliba the same thing. Guardiola the same thing. Munoz the same thing. Getting one clean sheet from this game week was pretty easy with choosing the Arsenal, Palace, and City players basically who got the clean sheets. So yeah, managed to get that at least. 3 points from Salah. Again, disappointing to see him only get 3 points. De Bruyne started both games, got 5 points. Also really disappointing considering, like all things considered, really. You got the two starts that you wanted from De Bruyne if you brought him in, but just no points to go along with it, basically. SA was more lucky or skillful as well. That goal was really well taken. Really nice goal from SA. Super nice volley, and that gave him 10 points in total. Nice win from him. And then Marino which was obviously the big downside to this game week. I did expect a lot more from him, obviously. I had him as my vice captain even because I thought he was going to play, like I said, start one match, get 60 plus, and then play at least 30 minutes in the other game to get him warmed up for PSG. But yeah, 55 minutes in total and 4 points is just not good enough. Should have been Trossard, obviously. I can say now in hindsight. Rodgers 7 points as well. Mateta, Marmoush, basically the same players that I had from my own team as well. Marmoush as captain, again disappointing in this team. On the bench I had Martinez and Konsa, who also both had 2 blanks in a row in the double game week. I had Wissa, who had a single game week but ended up being one of the better players this game week. I think it was just a really bad game week overall for all the double game week players. Really, like it was just like Matheus Nunes, Gundogan, O'Reilly. Like there was just like some random ass players with double game weeks that did well this time around, and I think it's just because most of the teams that had a double game week are actually saving players for more important matches to come in the cups that they are still in, and they don't really have as much to play for in the league, basically. So yeah, a bit of a difficult free hit draft to make, I think. Ended up getting 74 points in total. Also had Bradley on the bench with 5 points. Pretty happy with that as well. So the bench was actually pretty good for like a bench boostable type of squad. But obviously when you free hit, you can't use bench boost. So I wasn't able to bench boost this squad. But if this squad was just made naturally and you could have bench boosted here as well, That would have been 74, 79, 90, 97 points, I think, in total, which would have been a nice game week, of course. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the draft in total, and I'm pretty happy with my drafting lately. I think in general, it's been pretty good, my free hit drafts in total. So I hope that bodes well for Game Week 34, which is going to be the game week that is the most important for the free hit to be as best that it could be, because this is the game week where I'm actually using it, and this is the team that I currently have for you right now. So yeah, this is the team for both my free hit suggestion for Game 34, obviously, because it is the free hit team. It's going to be my own team because I'm using the free hit chip, and it's also going to be the team that I think the manager of the week should go with, because he also is someone that should be using the free hit this game week. So let's just start with the goalkeeper, move our way all the way up through the team, talk about all the picks, talk about some choices that I have both in the starting lineup and players that I'm considering as well on top of these players. And just end it there basically afterwards. But yeah, in goal I went, or I should actually start with the defense actually, because that's a bit more interesting than the goalkeeper currently. So I'm actually going with 4 defenders. I was really close with going with 5 defenders. I'm still sort of contemplating it, but after we got the news that Harry Wilson's gonna potentially start, might be benched but might start, Sessegnon is not really locked for minutes. I don't feel as good about Sessegnon as a pick. Obviously, if he plays as a right winger and plays 60 plus minutes, that's ideal, because then you get a decent chance of a clean sheet against Southampton, who are not a good team. And you also get chance of attacking returns as well from Sessegnon, like you did see this past game week. But I just don't feel confident enough in starting him currently, so I'm going with 4 defenders instead, which is also kind of controversial, I guess. Five defenders would be super controversial, but I think it's just like the most value in the defenders this game week. And I think that's the most interesting thing about the free hit draft in total, or the free hit plans for Game 34. We're all looking to see who will be our 5 midfielders or our 3 forwards. But I think 4 defenders, or potentially even 5 defenders, could be the way to go. Because usually when you're not on a free hit and you look long term, it's really difficult to pick a team that has like the easiest fixtures for like 5 game weeks. But when it comes to defense, like, really good chances for clean sheets. Home games typically get you more clean sheets in total, or all 4 players that I have in defense have home games, and they're all playing really easy opposition as well, or at least like decent opposition to face as well. Trippier and Aitnouri obviously play Ipswich and Leicester respectively, 2 newly promoted, or I should say promoted teams last season that are also going down again for this season, 2 really bad teams. I really like both Aitnouri and Trippier. They will both have really good attack return potential as well, which is the case for all 4 defenders. So I have Trent, Cucurella, Aitnouri and Trippier, all have really good like attacking potential for defenders, and they all have a really nice fixture this game week where they can get a clean sheet as well. So I feel like there's just so many routes to points there with the defenders. So I feel like going with 4 defenders is the right play, especially seeing as I don't really have as many midfielders and strikers that I'm like super confident in my opinion. Like, there are a lot of good picks, obviously. You have the same great fixtures for all teams in attack as well, with Newcastle playing against Ipswich at home, Wolves playing against Leicester at home, Chelsea playing against Everton at home, and Liverpool playing against Spurs at home. But I do have the best picks, I think, from those teams in attack already. I have Salah, Palmer, Cunha, and Isak from those four same teams, basically. The best attacking option for each of those teams. Salah, I think, is going to be the best. I think he is the captaincy choice again. I'm just going to ride with Salah for the end of the season, just because, yeah, I love him pretty much. As an FPL pick, he's brought me so much joy, even though lately hasn't been just as good, or hasn't been quite as good in FPL. Then we have Palmer, who I don't really have as much faith in. He might be the player to drop out, actually. I didn't really have him in my team until sort of convinced. Maybe it's like peer pressure. Maybe it's like just fear of missing out from Palmer, but just because he is like the penalty taker, free kick taker. He's been so good in the past and all that stuff. They're playing Everton, who have Tarkowski in defense now, or who don't have Tarkowski in defense. They have Michael Keane in defense. I think that's like the main reason why I've gone with Palmer. I think if Everton had their same old defense that has been really good and solid, with Tarkowski and Branthwaite, I don't think I would go for Palmer. But seeing as they have Michael Keane, probably the worst centre-back in the league currently playing, and also with Palmer last season just scoring 4 goals against Everton, or 5 goals or whatever he did, it just feels silly not to go with him, I guess. So yeah, I don't really super enjoy the Palmer pick, but I think just because Everton are sort of there for the taking with the defenders currently, I think Palmer is the pick for Chelsea in midfield. and keeping on with the other players from those 4 teams. Wolverhampton playing against Leicester at home, obviously the easiest fixture. Cunha has been so good for me all season as well. I think he's really, really good. There are some slight doubts now that he's had some suspension issues. He was benched in his first game back and stuff. He's linked to Man United. It seems like he's almost going there already. There are some potential small rumors that he might not start, but I think most likely he's going to start. And whether he gets 30 minutes or 60 minutes or 90 minutes, I think he has a decent chance of scoring against Leicester at home because it's just such an easy team to score against. So Cunha just has far too high upside for me to go without him. So he makes him an easy choice in midfield. And then finally we have Isak, who's also obviously a really popular pick. Ipswich at home is something you always want to target, and Isak has given you no reasons not to go for him basically pretty much all season, even though he has been sort of disappointing lately in total. Didn't get a point even last time around, or got 2 points. Didn't get any attacking returns last time. But I think Isak the hole is right around the corner for Isak, and I think it would be making a lot of sense for him to score in this game week where most of us are going, or again, where all of us are going to have him most likely. So he's also a decent captaincy choice. I have him as my vice captain because I do prefer Salah, but yeah, I sort of get the idea with Isak as well. So I have all those 4 teams covered, both in defense and in attack, with the best player in each position for those 2 teams, I think, in general. And that leaves basically 2 spots that are sort of more differential-y in midfield and attack. I guess the 4 defenders, starting 4 defenders is differential in and of itself, but I think all 4 players, Trent, Cucurella, Aït-Nouri, and Trippier, and Sessegnon for that matter, or Robinson if that's who you want to go for, they're all going to be pretty popular picks, but it's all going to be like scattered around. Some people won't have Trent, some people won't have Cucurella, some people won't have Aït-Nouri, and some people won't have Trippier basically. So yeah, but I think starting all 4 is kind of a differential, and I sort of make sure that I get the player, because I think 1 out of those 4 players has to get like an attacking return and a clean sheet. I feel like that is supposed to happen. I think most defenders have a decent chance of getting clean sheets, and I think most of them also have a decent chance of getting attacking returns, at least 1 of them you would expect, and they all have so many routes to points when it comes to attacking returns as well. Some of them super offensive, Aït-Nouri and Cucurella, some of them all set pieces and stuff like Trent and Trippier. I just think all 4 players are just really secure players to have, and I think all are going to play 60 plus minutes for sure. And they're all going to have decent chances of getting points attacking wise. But yeah, like I said, 4 players from those 4 teams in attack, 4 players from those 4 teams in defense, including the goalkeeper as well. I should not go through without talking about the goalkeeper. I got my Jose Sa, who's a slight injury doubt, but I do have the free hits team, so I have the best possible backup goalkeeper, I think, in Alisson Becker as my final player there in case Jose Sa doesn't play. But if Jose Sa plays, I do think Leicester is the easiest fixture. That is the most likely clean sheet from these fixtures as well. So I go with Jose Sa as my starting goalkeeper, especially seeing as I don't have any options for a Newcastle player because I have tripled up on Newcastle players here. So I can't get Pope either as the starting goalkeeper or on the bench basically. But I think Jose Sa is the best option if he plays. If he doesn't play, Alisson against Spurs, I think that's a decent shot. It's basically between Alisson and Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper. And with my really bad experiences with Chelsea goalkeepers this season, I'm just going to stay clear of that. So Alisson is my backup goalkeeper. But I could go with Leno as well. I think Fulham have a decent chance of getting a clean sheet against Southampton. I might end up with 3 Fulham players in the end in my starting lineup. That is still a possibility, even though I have 0 currently. Fulham also are kind of a free hit team. I think game week 29, which was like the second biggest free hits game week this season, they actually got a really good result. If I do remember correctly. And last season in game week 29, when a lot of people used their free hit, that was the game week where they beat Spurs 3-0 and sort of surprised everyone and sort of made the free hit really shit for all of those guys, including me, who had triple Spurs in that game week instead. So they are kind of like a free hit team. I don't think that should really count for anything really, but I am sort of superstitious in some ways, so maybe that is playing into my mind a little bit. So I am a bit tempted to have several Fulham players, but currently I only have 1 player and he's on the bench in Sessegnon basically. But there are some really good Fulham picks that I'm going to talk about as well. But first and foremost, or second or third and foremost, whatever, I've talked about a lot of different things with this free hit team. It's a bit jumbled up. I'm sorry about that. But let's talk about the 2 sort of like differentials that I have. The first being Harvey Barnes in midfield. I think he's just been so good lately. I think he has a really good chance of starting this game, and I think he has a good chance of playing many minutes as well. I feel like he has the best chance of getting 90 minutes out of the 3 Newcastle midfielders. Even though I don't feel like I feel like Murphy has a better chance to start, but I feel like Murphy is also more likely to be subbed off as we've seen in the past. I think most likely they're going to go with Murphy and Barnes again, like they have been doing the last few game weeks. They did lose 4-1 against Aston Villa last time around, so maybe that makes them want to change up their team a little bit. But I have decent faith in Barnes. I think he's looked really, really good. He's gotten attacking returns every single game week almost. And I think he's also, if the worst things ends up happening and he doesn't start for Newcastle, I think he'll come on with like 30 minutes left, and I think he'll be really hungry to score and assist, as we've seen in the past. He's been somewhat of a super sub when he's come in for Newcastle in the past as well. So yeah, even if he doesn't start, I think he has the decent points potential, and I do think he's going to start, and I do think he has a decent chance of getting 90 minutes as well. So Harvey Barnes, just really good form, really good fixture, and I have a decent amount of faith in him starting and getting a lot of minutes this game as well. So I think he's a really good pick, and that's why I have him in my midfield currently for Newcastle, who are obviously, when they're facing really bad teams, especially lately, they've been super good. So I really want to double up on their attack because they can get a lot of goals, and I think Barnes will be the best player out of him, Gordon and Murphy, basically. So I picked him in midfield. And finally, for my striker position, I was really tempted when I saw that Rodrigo Muniz is out for this game week. It's most likely that Raul Jimenez is going to play for sure. But I just feel like Wood is just a better pick overall. Like, he plays at home, Fulham play away. Wood has just shown that he is a better choice than Jimenez over the course of the season. He's a penalty taker as well, of course, as Jimenez is. Wood is more secure as the penalty taker because he never misses penalties, basically. And he plays Brentford at home, which is a team that concedes a lot of goals, basically, all around the shop. So, yeah, I don't really get why Wood is not really, like, super, like, well-chosen player. Most people have Cunha and Isak, and now it seems like most people are going with Raul Jimenez as the third pick. But I think Wood is probably my favorite third striker to have currently, or he is my favorite third striker to have, because yeah, Brentford at home is not that tough for attacking players. Wood has shown in the past that he can score a lot of goals. Nottingham Forest are sort of like clawing on to that top 5 spot, or to get into the Champions League next season, so they have a lot to play for. Wood just scored in this past game as well, had a goal disallowed on top of that, so he seems like he's in good form. He played 90 minutes in that game. No reason to believe that he's not going to get 90 minutes again. Plays a really good team at home. They have everything to play for. He's on penalties. Like, there's so much to like about Wood. I just don't really know why he's not that popular now. So maybe I'll use that to my advantage. I think I'm going to land on Wood in the end. Pause. But I do think that is going to be the best way to go about it, because I think he is probably the best striker to have outside of Cunha and Isak, who I do prefer over Wood, obviously. But yeah, quite like Wood as a differential pick this game week as well. So yeah, pretty convoluted, but that is my starting lineup currently. I'll just go through it again one by one to make it easier for you to listen to it if you're just listening, I guess, and you want to have my team read up to you, or read up for you, or whatever. I have Jose in goal against Leicester at home. I have Trent Alexander-Arnold against Spurs at home in defense, with Cucurella against Everton at home, Aït-Nouri against Leicester at home, Trippier against Ipswich at home, Salah against Spurs at home as my captain, Palmer against Everton at home, Barnes against Ipswich at home, Isak against Ipswich at home, Cunha against Leicester at home, and Wood against Brentford at home in my starting lineup. Then on my bench, I have Alisson Becker, just in case Jose Sa is not ready to play for Wolves. I'll have Alisson coming in against Spurs at home, which I think is a decent game for a clean sheet. I might still go with Leno there. I also have Sessegnon on my first bench against Southampton away. I think he has decent points potential, but I'm just fearing that like 55th minute sub, or not even starting for Sessegnon. Like, those are still on the table now with Harry Wilson back and ready to play. So kind of tempted to start him, but I do also feel pretty good about Barnes and Wood. But what I might also do is getting Pope rather than Barnes, and starting Sessegnon as well, and just go super defensive and just pick a lot of defensive players. But currently, this is what I'm leaning towards. Also on the bench, I have Jared Bowen against Brighton away, and Elanga against Brentford at home. Again, I think the Brentford at home fixture is really good. Elanga is someone that I have had in my team since I wildcarded him in Game Week 30, but he's been really inconsistent. He's been playing 45 minutes pretty much every game, getting subbed off at the half and stuff. Like, can't really trust him too much, but he's just a cheap guy to have at the end of my bench. I don't really need, probably, because I think most of these guys are going to start for me, so I don't really need a third bench spot. But yeah, Elanga is a decent pick anyway for a really cheap price. Bowen as well, I think he has good form. I think West Ham will score against Brighton. But again, it's an away game. West Ham have usually struggled a bit against Brighton, so not fully confident in that as I am with the other players. I think they have better fixtures, and I want to have home fixtures instead of away fixtures for this free hit. So yeah, that's basically my whole team currently. Like I said, I am really considering the Fulham guys, especially Sessegnon, Leno, and Jimenez. All three might be part of my team when I do set up for Gaming34 with my free hit drafts. But currently, I feel pretty set on this team. The team value is also 103.9, so I've actually used every single bit of my money available now. Obviously, you don't need it. You don't need to have Bowen on your bench. You can have someone cheaper. You can have someone cheaper than Alisson on your bench as well than this. So it's going to be pretty easy to make the starting 11, even if you don't have as much team value as I do. And I don't even have that much anyway, so I think you should be able to make this team for yourself. So yeah, I think that's like my main thoughts about this team. When it comes to other players that I'm currently looking at, I think for strikers, I have considered the Brentford guys, but they are playing Nottingham Forest away. I think that's just a tough fixture, so I'm going to look away from Mbeumo. I'm going to look away from Wissa, but I do think they are still really good picks, as they always are, basically. Chelsea as well, I think they could potentially have like a huge game against Everton. I think Nicholas Jackson is like a sort of fun differential up front, but I just don't trust Chelsea especially, but also Nicholas Jackson, who's not really been in the best of form lately. But I do think it's kind of a fun differential pick, especially if you are a Chelsea fan. I would definitely go for it, because Everton at home, it seems like this is like a decent game week for Everton to be targeted, because they do lack Tarkowski in defense, and they're going to play Michael Keane, who's terrible. So yeah, I think Nicholas Jackson is also a fun kind of differential player there. When it comes to the defenders, I feel like the 4 defenders that I have currently are the best defenders to have. You could make a case for doubling up, maybe with Fabian Schär, I think is the best other defender there, but Wolves, don't really think there's any other defender that I ignore that I really want from there. Same with Chelsea, Cucurella is like the main guy. Maybe if we get news that Reece James is going to start, he could be a really good choice and really fun choice as well. For all those basically nostalgic FPL fans there. If you still have good memories from Reece James, please let me know. And then Trent, I don't think there's anyone, like you could go Van Dijk and stuff, but I don't really think that's the best fixture either. I think it's just because it is Trent basically. I'm hoping that he starts. If I get any inclination that he's not going to start, then obviously I'll probably ship him out. I probably get another attacker in there. Could get Bowen in in the starting lineup, could get Sessegnon, could get could change up the team a bit as well, but yeah, I think those are my main thoughts when it comes to the free hit team. Pretty happy or pretty intrigued by all the defensive picks, especially if Trent is ready to play, or if there's any news that Sessegnon is going to start or something like that. I feel pretty good about starting at least 4 defenders, maybe even 5 if I get some inclination that Sessegnon is going to start and Trent is going to start. I might just want to go with all of them, but I do feel quite good about Barnes and Wood as well, and I think Salah, Palmer, or Salah, Cunha, and Isak are locks. Palmer, just fear of missing out, really. He has such high potential as well, so it feels kind of wrong to go without him when he plays Everton at home, when Everton have those difficulties that I just listed when I talked about Nicholas Jackson. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this game week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Pretty extensive free hit section here as well, which is obviously warranted because it is the Game Week 34 free hit, which is when I'm actually using my free hit and when most people are using their free hit, especially if you're watching this currently. I'm assuming most of you are using your free hit this game week. When it comes to not using free hitting in A34, I think Mbeumo and Wissa are players that are more viable, obviously, because they are going to be there for the long term. If you're wondering more about who's the best players for like not just Game Week 34, but for the long-term future of this season, I made the weekly Walker Draft video, as I do every single week, and put it out on Thursday, or yesterday, as I should say. And that's with like the next few game weeks in mind, not just Game Week 34, but you'll have a viable Game Week 34 team there as well. So you'll get plenty of transfer tips on who are the best players to have from Game Week 34 onwards for the rest of the season in that video, if you're looking for other tips apart from the free hit team for Game Week 34 as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I should also just note that I think I said it already in the video, but I do make a free hit team every single game week this season. As you can see, I have accumulated 2,252 points in total using the free hits basically every single game week, like projected free hit team. I've accumulated all the points that I made in those basically fake free hit teams. And that rank would be around 39k overall, which is like decent enough, but seeing as you get unlimited transfers every week, probably should do a little bit better than that, but I'm hoping to get even more luck this game week, especially seeing as I'm using my free hit for Game 34 in total. So yeah, I think that covers it all basically. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or anything like that, any suggestions to my team, anything you think is nice about the team, anything you don't like about the team. Please let me know in the comment section. Like the video if you can as well, and subscribe if you haven't already. Getting really close to 1,000 subscribers, which we'll hopefully get for at least next season. With that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed the video again. I keep saying that every single video, but it is true. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.